There's a difference between being authentic and everyone just having accessibility to you. And I'm just like, bingo. Like I feel like that's a line that, so to your point, so many people are crossing online. Like I feel like too many people are having accessibility to you when you're sharing all of your business, we don't need to. It's okay to be authentically you, but we don't need to know everything about you.
Joining us on this episode.
You got walls and a roof. Well,
for the people living their life like a movie. Real talk between real sisters. Hey, step siblings. Welcome back to Between Sisters Podcast.
Hey, step siblings. I'm Corrine.
And I'm Kayla.
And you're listening to Between Sisters Podcast. Today, we are having another episode of our Raven series, this time talking about how Raven taught us not to tell everybody our business. So, if you're interested, stay tuned. Of course, we're starting off with our Sister Soundoff segment, so 30 seconds on the clock. Sister Soundoff is where we take 30 seconds to pause the conversation and speak our mind. Here's how.
Do you think that people want to overshare because they genuinely want advice or because they just want validation? Sometimes I think people are just talking just to get the, validation from people, just to hear themselves talk. They don't even really want the advice. They don't even care what you're going to say. They just want someone to hear their problems and just wants to be validated in some way. Sometimes even just wanting yes men. So, I'm under time.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's this study that shows that you get the happy endorphins from completing something when you tell someone something, even if you haven't completed it. So if something is happening or if you have some big news that's coming up and you tell someone and they're like, oh, congratulations, or oh, great, you get that validation before it's even done. So it's almost like you don't have that same motivation. I mean, you might still. You are already letting yourself feel like you've completed it.
That makes sense because you do feel good when everyone's congratulating you, when everyone's like, when it's your moment, right? Like You do feel, you get hyped up. At least I do.
And I just feel like there's a sense of completion and a sense of accomplishment, right? Yeah. And then that's gone. So I think that that's true. People sometimes overshare because they want validation for things and they don't want to, they're like fiending to say, I have this thing coming or this is something about me. And really, if they would have held off, they could have kept that, when people say they got that dog in them, they could have kept that, edge of psychologically being like, okay, it's not completed yet. You're not having your celebration hormones. I always think of that with like basketball. When they start winning the playoff games and stuff, and I was like, whoa, and they're like, job's not finished. Like, I can't celebrate yet. Like, okay, great. We need to do the next thing. Until it's done, I can't do all of this.
That's why I don't even like telling people until it's done. Because I don't know. I need to get through everything first. I need to just have my time to think, push through it, motivate myself, whatever I need to do. And then once I'm finished, I can tell people. Because if it's not complete and I tell people, I just feel weird.
I think that's the premise of what we pulled from That's So Raven this week. Of Raven kept her psychic abilities close-knit to her and her two best friends. Everyone in the school did not know she was psychic. Going around, I saw what's happened to you, so don't talk to me crazy because I know you best fall downstairs. No, that's not what happened. She was very actually anal about keeping it a secret. Yeah. In every episode that kind of had someone get close to the truth or uncover, there was some episodes where people kind of found out and she had to maneuver her way backwards or this, that, and the third. It was a big deal. And I feel like some people would benefit from not sharing everything.
Because honestly, I feel like in 2026, someone who had that ability would share it to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know for this show, for That's So Raven, they kind of made it like they didn't want people to know because of like bullying or things like that. And I don't necessarily think in 2026 anyone would get bullied, but I feel like they would be harassed. They're like, what do you know? What's going to happen? And you know what I'm saying? It would be too much. And it's like, protect your own peace in a way, you know? That's kind of what I think about when I think about it. It's like protecting your own peace. Not everyone needs to know everything.
I also feel like people overshare a lot these days online to people who really, it's none of their business. The people at Raven School is none of their business. They don't know her like that. You are getting online telling everybody about some very private, intimate moments.
Yeah.
About the craziest thing you've ever done. Yeah. About all types of stuff. I keep seeing a trend now about people talking about the parent Facebook groups for college students. And the stuff that they're asking on these parent Facebook groups is crazy. Someone was asking what condom size should they buy their son who's 124 pounds and something. I was like, is that a troll? Like, this has to be a troll. Like, no way. Some people are saying, one lady posted her daughter was leaving her laundry outside of the room for the laundry service and they were never delivering it back.
There's no laundry service.
Some parents were commenting like, how do I get access to my child's grades? College. How do I get access to my child's grades? How do I get the specifics teacher's email? How do I do... These Facebook groups, they're asking all types of things and putting their children's business out there, right? So I just feel like that is a prime example of oversharing. And then you're doing it on somebody else's behalf.
I was about to say, that's like, you know, when this would happen to us all the time. When you catch your mom on the phone talking about you to, like, you know, your aunt or her friend or something, and you're just like, why are you telling my business? That's what that made me think. It's just like, dang, why are you telling my business? Let me at least be the person to say it.
But on a Facebook group to all the other parents at this college, you posting your kid's picture, you're posting this, you're posting that, and then you're posting, my child was crying in their room for 3 days because they don't know how to do something. How do we do that? Like, stop telling all their business. Like, if you need to figure something out, figure it out. Also, maybe it's a conversation that we need to have with each other. That's what I'm saying. Like, oversharing is a lot online right now.
I heard somewhere, and this like changed my perspective on a lot of things. There's a difference between being authentic and everyone just having accessibility to you. And I'm just like, bingo. Like, I feel like that's a line that, so to your point, so many people are crossing online. Like, I feel like too many people are having accessibility to you when you're sharing all of your business, we don't need to, it's okay to be authentically you, but we don't need to know everything about you. Strangers, especially.
I think the problem is people equate being authentic to being raggedy. People, if you are like, if you have things going for you, some people like to wake up and do a nice morning routine for themselves. I like to get up. They're like, I like to get up. I like to stretch. I like to journal, read my Bible, take a sip of tea. And some people like that for themselves. And they post their little routines online. And people in the comments are like, ugh, this is so fake. But if someone posts a video with the title, My Authentic Morning Routine, and the whole thing is like, yeah, rolled out of bed, didn't brush my teeth. Like, it's like overly, which might be authentic to them. That's fine. Then everyone's like, finally, a real one. You just want people to be raggedy. That is the problem. So people think you're not being vulnerable if it's not raggedy.
And obviously no one's perfect. Like, obviously not every morning is going to be sunshine and rainbows, but like, I feel like there's just too much. Like, even with reviews, like clothing reviews, I'm like, when did we get so comfortable getting on TikTok with like nothing on? Like, I'm gonna review this thing and we're in our underwear. And it's like, remember when that would have been like, whoa, and now it's so normal? I feel like a lot of things are normalized. And I had to check myself because this literally, I'm scrolling and this girl's reviewing something and she had her like pants down showing her underwear. She's like, I'm about to pull the pants up, right? But it's like,
you could have skipped that part.
Right, you could have skipped that part.
We get the point that you had on your pajama pants and now you've changed into the other pants.
Right, and I'm like,
you could have kept the pajama shirt on and we would have understood that's not the final outfit. That's just you built on the pajama pants. You didn't have to strip down.
Right, and I'm like, at first I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, whoa, when did this become so normalized to where this woman's literally in her underwear and I'm not phased? I'm just like,
but that I'm like, if that comes to a point of like, it doesn't make sense in that scenario, right? You're showing us your outfit of the day. Why are we seeing your underwear? If it's a underwear campaign, right, we need to see the underwear. Show us the underwear, but like that is like time and place. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do it for every single thing. So I think it just depends because it's like, obviously, if it's an underwear campaign, like we have to see the underwear. I also have this feeling of oversharing and stuff. When people are looking, say, at your Instagram stories, at your things, and of that nature, no one actually cares. They just are nosy. Mm-hmm. So when you're sharing all of these things and you feel like you have to share something to feel like people know that things are going well for you, they don't actually care. They're just nosy.
And I feel like that goes to being selective of what you tell and who can see everything, because
I always think of that when people post shady stuff, like they're arguing with someone and they post shady things on their story or their notes, and I'm like, these people don't care. You just like feeding their nosy, like, oh, got my nosy fix for the day, got my drama fix for the day, because they're like, I didn't fight with any of my friends, I'm good. Like, I'm looking at it like, ooh, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to share every little piece of information with people. You can be selective about what you share. And I think it's okay to share a lot if that's what you choose. But there are certain things, especially personal things, that you should keep to yourself. And I think that's what Raven did very well. Something like having psychic powers is not something that you're going to have to worry about. Mm-hmm. But there are other things, like maybe you have something, I don't know. Okay. I remember Summer Walker came out with like, she had social anxiety, right? And she was like, she has social anxiety. This is why she performs this way. This, that, and the third. People attacked her before and people attacked her after for having the disorder. Yeah. So it's like, and then people also look at her and analyze her with, now that they have the information, the ammunition to use, right? Now they're like, I even see people like, well, this is how she acts around women and this is how she acts around men.
Yeah,
this is how she does that. This is how she does that.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you do share information, now it's out there for people to interpret it whatever way they want to do. And weaponize it or change it. You know what I mean? Like, people can take one story and it can get around and now it's a completely different story than what you were telling. So I feel like that's another thing to just be cautious of. If it's something that you're serious about, something that you don't play about, that you're sharing, you know what I mean? Something that's personal, to just be careful, because people are going to take that and weaponize that. And that was a perfect example with Summer Walker, because they analyze her down with that. And it's crazy.
That is so funny that you brought that up, of changing the story and making it something completely different, because that has been happening recently. Okay. You know, Jules LeBron, who did the very demure, very mindful, very demure, very mindful. Yes. So this is a TikToker who had a big giant trend maybe a couple years ago saying, we actually very demure, very mindful. Blew up, has like, what, millions of followers? All the things. Became very successful. this person recently made a TikTok asking their supporters to donate to a GoFundMe for them to get their teeth fixed. People had very mixed feelings about this because they're like, why are you asking your supporters for money when, especially in this economy, and like you have all these followers and there are resources for you to get this, and then people are also mad because they also were talking about they can't get a real job. And then they were like, but you want us to give us your money, our money from our real job. Like, it was just a lot like that people were upset about this video. And then so there were just a lot of think pieces on the timeline, and people who had never even heard of Jules LeBron were now seeing this. Somebody then posts a TikTok like, what are y'all talking about? LeBron James went broke and is asking for money. Everyone was like, no. He was like, not my LeBron. He ain't broke. He ain't broke.
You know what's funny though? I feel like, God forbid that's ever the case for LeBron, but I feel like so many guys
like,
would donate.
First of all, this was a serious situation. And you come on here clowning. Because that was a serious situation, actually, for Jules LeBron and the people who were supporters of Jules LeBron who were offended, and Jules LeBron who was also offended. Like, it was a complicated situation between these people. You online talking about, is LeBron James broke? This is how the stories get changed and intermingled. Everyone was in the comments like, get off, turn your dang phone off. When your phone dies, don't charge it again.
Dang. I never heard that one before. Dang.
That's the way like things get misconstrued. And it becomes a dog pile. Especially people on TikTok there are a lot of TikTok accounts who don't think of their own videos and ideas. They just see what everyone's talking about and then make a video talking about that exact same thing. So if they see people piling up on you with the information that you have shared with people and trying to be vulnerable and authentic, they might not even know who you are. They're just gonna hop on a thing and make the video too, so that they could get their likes and their thing, because they can't think of something else for themselves.
I will say, if that's the type of content you make, just make sure you have all your research done first, because then you end up making the "what happened to LeBron" type of content.
He was definitely joking, but like it was just like that just brought me to the example. Like, yeah, what are you talking about? He was like, what are y'all talking about, LeBron? What happened? Everyone's like,
no, I definitely respect the people who take the time out to really get their.
He was
their facts
joking.
straight. No, I'm just saying. I definitely love people who do that.
But I think that was probably a hard thing to do, to get online and ask people for money, especially if you're like successful, right? Mm-hmm. And it's also very valid for people to feel like offended. Yeah. So it's like when you are sharing these things with people, it's like it's a double-edged sword. Some things aren't meant for everyone to know.
Yeah, it's just, about not being a secretive person, but just being intentional about what you share and how you share it. I'm not saying go out and just, put up walls all over the place. No, but
I also
just be intentional.
I also think that people will take advantage of you if you share everything, right? So like Raven, people would have took advantage of the fact that they knew she was psychic. People would have been bugging her all the time. There would have been people trying to force her to have visions. There would have been people who made up rumors about her visions. There would have been people trying to pay her for her visions. Like, there are a lot of things that people would exploit you for, and sometimes you just shouldn't share that. I even think of that when people share some of the things that I get iffy on sharing, your money on situation online. Yeah. Because I'm like, exact numbers, half of the time people are lying, right? When they're like selling things, I feel like sometimes when people are selling courses and stuff, they lie. Like, oh, I made this in a month. Oh, I made this in a month.
Oh, okay.
Doing this. You know what I'm saying? But people are using that information to exploit people, right? So I just feel like watch what you share in a successful manner and in a not successful manner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, because one, with a successful way, people are counting your pockets. And you never know who's going to be trying to come after you because of that alone.
People pocket watch crazy. I didn't realize how much people pocket watched until I heard someone do it in real time.
Oh.
And I was like, how did you? It was like, oh, well, they just had this happen, so they have this and this and this. Dang, you watching them like that? Stop sharing with these.
You got it. Yeah.
Keep some of your stuff on the down low. People don't need to know every single thing about you.
It's like when people win the lotto and they're wearing a mask, they're wearing gloves, they're wearing a scarf, they're wearing sunglasses, they're wearing a wig. Absolutely, because I would do that too.
You know what's
You're not
so
about to know.
crazy? You can't do that in a lot of states. There's only some states that you're allowed to do that. Some states you're forced to have your name up there that you won, and like you're not allowed to cover yourself. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that in every state. They were just fortunate enough that they were doing that in their state. But yeah. And with the Powerball at $1 billion now, you know, you can't do it that in every state. No.
Honestly, I don't think that's fair. You know what I mean? Because that's $1 billion. Imagine someone wins $1 billion. That's kind of scary to think. You know what I mean? Just because you don't know who's watching you. That's crazy.
Just move away immediately.
Yeah. Don't take anything. You'll need it.
You win $1 billion? Listen, you don't have to worry about me. I win $1 million. I win $1 billion. You really don't have to worry about me. I'm out of the way immediately. And I'm helping people out. I'm a humanitarian.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You really don't have to worry about me, because you probably are going to be like, I'm probably going to find a way to help you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to, I'm helping the world at this point. Like, what's up? Who needs food? I don't know.
Wait. That's literally me now. Like, because, okay, for y'all who don't know, I have a garden. And I'm always like, I want to give food away. I don't make enough to give away. But in my heart, I'm like, I want to grow more because I want to be able to just give it away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really want to do that. I'm like, I'm going to have to expand because I
feel like it's some people who, like, you hear stories about people who won the lottery and are like, blew it all and are like broke and stuff. And I'm like, dang, like, it's like, you really got to sit down for a second. Just sit down for a second and just, I feel like, stare into the abyss for like at least 3 hours. Talk to God. Yeah. Don't do anything. Just talk out loud to God 3 hours. And then be like, okay. Oh, our dog wants attention. And then figure out what you're going to do. Financial planner or something. I don't know. Like, just randomly spending immediately, I'll be scared.
I would be, honestly, my first big purchase was my laptop, and I was scared to press purchase. I was like, I even forget how much it was, but for me, that was like the most expensive thing at the time that I bought. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, and I was literally scared. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm about to press like check out, like, and I'm like, okay, like, just do it, like, and it's like, girl, but now imagining doing something really like crazy, you know, like, I would be.
But your first big purchase is like when you're young like that, like, okay, whatever. People are winning the lotto and being like, forget that, I'm buying Michael Jackson's estate, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they are going crazy. They buying 3 yachts, 2 things. That's not something that you do.
No.
So, and I just think that keep it on the low as much as you can. Believe it or not, people are not watching the news like that as much anymore. Unfortunately, I think y'all should be keeping up with the news, but people aren't. So you low-key could be on the news, and the people didn't even see it.
Low-key.
You incognito. Because they can't even bother to open the dang trades.
And a lot of people are not, they're just not doing that. And honestly, that's crazy. I have been hearing people say that.
Unless they post it on Threads, they haven't seen it. So, Threads people, hold it down. Don't post it. I love Threads.
I love it.
That's another place where people are starting to overshare, but it's all for good entertainment. Listen, like I said before, people are nosy. Mm-hmm. So I just think that if you would feel offended of someone commenting negatively on something, or you wouldn't want someone to use something against you, just keep it to the people that are important to you. Not everything needs to be shared. Even the most visible people have such private things. We have seen Zendaya 365 days of this year. Seriously.
She's been killing it.
We done seen 5 Zendaya movies in the theater, Zendaya show on HBO. Like, we see Zendaya every day, okay? She's on the red carpet. She's doing all the things. You have not even seen one picture of Zendaya's wedding, because that is something that's close to her. And if she decides to post it, that's because it's on her decision, right? You don't know much about Zendaya, okay? And she is very visible.
Exactly.
So don't think that someone who is, people are running down the street following, trying to figure out everything about them, paying tabloids, who got the tea, who got the thing. Don't feel like you, who are just as much of a regular person as Zendaya, but nobody is running down on the tabloids to figure out why are you oversharing? You don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to tell other people.
And that's a perfect example. Not everyone needs accessibility to you. You
just offering it up for free. At least Zendaya, they was gonna pay for TMC.
You know what? That's a good way to think about it. You're gonna offer it up for free.
You just posted it
for free. No. Nope.
Yeah. Keep some things to your chest. Share your gifts with the world that you're supposed to share. Share happiness, share love, share your light. Keep your situations.
I will say, pray about it first, because sometimes you're meant to share like certain things that might be scary or embarrassing or whatever, because it's gonna help so many people. So many people can learn from the situations, recognize that they're in the same situations and get help. And sometimes that's your testimony that you're meant to share. So I will say, pray about it. See if that's something that you're supposed to share to the world.
I think the key word is testimony. A testimony is something that you went through and were able to overcome, and like you can share your story of how God brought you through this thing and all these things. You have the knowledge and the wisdom to share that through. If you're in the middle of something and you're like defeated and all these things, it might not be as clear. Maybe you're supposed to share it unclear to show someone, but I feel
to get help.
But okay. But I feel like sharing testimonies is also important, because God didn't bring you through all that to not give him his glory. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
That's it. That's a word. That's really it. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know down below what you think. Do you think that it's okay to share a lot of things, or do you think some things need to be kept close to your chest? I hope you enjoyed this episode of our Raven series. Please check out the other episodes of our Raven series. I know you guys have been loving these. So we are going to have some more coming for you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Like this video and follow us on all social media platforms. We will see you next time. Bye.